So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of our offseason rebuild series. Today it's going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. A few nights ago, the Cavs season came to an end at the hand of the Indiana Pacers. It was yet another second round exit for Cleveland and a really disappointing one at that. This was a team that won 64 games throughout the regular season, pretty much controlled the Eastern Conference the entire year, and then flamed out in round number 2. Now, I will say there were obviously some injuries early on in this series for Cleveland. Darius Garland especially seemed like a player that was hurt throughout the entirety of the series, but ultimately at pretty much all factions outside of Game 3, it really seemed like Cleveland was just outplayed by Indiana the entire time. So it's going to be an interesting offseason for the Cavs. I'm not sure how much flexibility they truly do have as a team that is over the second apron, but I think a change or two is certainly necessary. My goal today is to clearly further rebuild this team and hopefully get them that championship. Before we do get into said video, let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section. At the time you guys are seeing this one, I'm currently recording this on Wednesday around 5:30. My Celtics have not played yet. I am assuming by the time you see this, they have been eliminated, which is going to hurt me very, very much. But that offseason rebuild will obviously be coming in the coming days. But of course, anything else you want to see, let me hear it all down below in the comment section. At this point, we got LeBron rebuilds to finish. We have rebuild challenges. We have pre-draft prospect rebuilds and every other offseason rebuild you can imagine. So very busy time around here, and I want to do exactly what you guys want to see. So let me hear it down below. I'm excited for this one today. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and have a quick conversation about this Cavaliers roster. Of course, as we just touched upon in the intro, there's not a ton in terms of flexibility this offseason for Cleveland. There's certainly a move or two that could be made, but ultimately they are relatively locked into this core, barring, a Donovan Mitchell trade. So, we can see right here, we're all the way up to staff signing at this point in time. Of course, as I mentioned in yesterday's rebuild, I had gone ahead and I assigned every single team their correct first round draft pick. So we have our pick here in Cleveland. I believe it is number 29. But more importantly, let's talk about this roster and what we are currently working with. In terms of talent, it is evident that the team is very, very loaded. I mean, just look at all the overalls that are here. But I think there are some deeper issues with this team, and obviously our goal is to address those here today. So, starting out at the point guard spot, Darius Garland, who last season was not very good. There were certainly some questions about whether or not he was the future point guard for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and this season he responded in a big way. He was absolutely fantastic and truly kind of proved he is the future point guard in Cleveland. Now, unfortunately, he had a toe injury, pretty much nagging him since the end of the first round series against Miami, and really just never looked himself in the entirety of the Indiana series. Now, I don't know if that means that, they're going to jump the gun and trade Garland. My guess is that it's going to be a no on that one. I know Darius Garland can certainly be inconsistent at times. Obviously, he is a bit weaker defensively, but I do truly believe in Garland. I think he's going to be really good for a long time. And obviously here in 2K, he ends up progressing really, really well. So he's very likely not going to be going anywhere here today. Let's talk about Ty Jerome. I don't know if anybody has possibly lost themselves more money this offseason than Ty Jerome did throughout that Indiana series. He was terrible. He almost fell out of the rotation entirely. Now, I'm not sure if Ty Jerome is going to end up back in Cleveland. I certainly think it's a possibility, but if there is a team out there that's willing to give him $20-25 million annually, my guess is that Cleveland opts not to match that. So, here in 2K, we obviously have the luxury to kind of completely go over all sorts of salary caps and hard caps and pretty much just spend out of our asses. But I'll be interested to see what they do end up doing with Ty Jerome. Obviously, it's an incredible story, the way he's kind of, really emerged this season as an elite bench piece for Cleveland. He was obviously in the 6th man of the year conversation, but he's going to want a payday. And I don't know if that one bad series against Indiana is going to stop him from getting that, but Cleveland's certainly going to be in the market for a new backup point guard if he does get it. And then finally, Craig Porter Jr. I think he's a piece that could end up developing. Unfortunately, he is already 25. It's not saying that's the end of the world or anything, but, he'll be 26, 27 by the time this video ends. How much higher is that overall truly going to get? Another shooting guard spot. Donovan Mitchell, it actually almost blows my mind in so many ways that he hasn't been in a conference finals yet. It feels like he kind of came out of the gate swinging in his rookie season in Utah, and ever since then, it feels like he's been a really elite playoff performer. And I'm not taking anything away from that, but there are certainly some games where he can be incredibly inefficient, like that Game 5 against Indiana the other night. So, the question is eventually going to come down to, can Donovan Mitchell be the best player on a championship team? I believe that answer as of now is no. It certainly could change, but we have seen him get close to the conference finals every single year. This was easily his best shot to make it, and unfortunately could just quite not get over the hump. So, it's not an indictment on Mitchell. He's still a really good player, one of the top 10, 12 players in the world, but I do think he has to continue to accelerate his game to another level if he does want to get, into that truly, superstar status. Sam Merrill's a nice shooter off the bench. We'll see. You got Javonte Green, probably not long-term. DeAndre Hunter, what a fantastic pickup at the deadline for Cleveland. Was just unbelievable for them for the majority of his time here this season. I'm assuming he'll probably just continue to be in a six-man role for them. Ultimately, I think if we take a look at this starting five, the small forward spot's probably the one area you would say, hey, that probably needs an upgrade. But, Hunter, whether he's starting next season, still coming off the bench, whatever it is, I think will be a vital piece to this group. Max Strus is interesting. He's obviously a guy that can hit some really timely and annoying shots. Trust me, I've seen it firsthand back when he was with Miami against my Celtics. But, at this point, he's entering his age 30 season. I don't know if he's ever going to be a starting, small forward on a championship team. I just don't know the answer to that question. So, he's not a bad player whatsoever. He definitely had a tough night in Game 5. But I do think it's a spot we could eventually consider upgrading. Isaac Okoro, I feel like his minutes have just kind of fallen significantly. He's on a 2-year, roughly $23 million deal. He's only 24. It's definitely not, his time's not over, but we're going to have to kind of, again, take it year by year. And then finally, Jalen Tyson, who actually does develop quite well in these videos. The power forward spot, Evan Mobley, was obviously fantastic this season. He's still only 24 years old, and he's going to obviously be my power forward the entirety of this video. Backing him up, though, is certainly, a little bit of a question mark. Dean Wade can give you something. I saw this dude turn into Steph Curry against my team one time. It was really, really painful. But Dean Wade's probably not going to be my backup power forward for 3 years. And then finally, Jared Allen, who's obviously an elite defensive center. He doesn't have a lot offensively outside of the rim, but he is somebody who I think is going to be here for probably the majority of the video. And clearly his backup definitely needs an upgrade. So, that's the team. It's loaded. I mean, there's no denying that. They are unbelievably talented, one of the best rosters in the NBA, but there are some, changes that do need to be made. Kenny Atkinson was great for this team in his first season here. He's not going anywhere. Has 1 year remaining on his deal, and barring a pretty epic collapse or an awful season, will likely be here the entire video. So, we approach the 2025 draft. We actually don't have our first round pick this year. Okay. Who has the 29th overall pick? Oh, wait, I remember. We're not supposed to have it. We do have 2 second-round picks. Probably won't use either of those. Actually, you know what I could do? If I try to move into round 1, who has, the 18th overall pick? The Wizards. If I just give you every second-round pick I have, would you be willing to maybe take this? Because we're not exactly, loaded in the draft capital department. So what was that, 18? We're going to kind of go down the list, and hopefully, somebody's willing to accept. I'll do 20 as well. All right, thank you, Miami. So we're going to pick somebody here at 20. My thought process behind that is whoever I draft at 20 is probably going to be more valuable than all those second-round picks. Asanul sitting here, the backup power forward spot, certainly a position of need. Makes a whole lot of sense to me. Welcome to the team. Okay, he's going to come in at a 74 overall. We have no team player options. There's really, outside of, Ty Jerome, not many major free agents for this team. So, we actually don't have bird rights on Ty Jerome, and the game's actually not going to allow me to re-sign him, it looks like. Terribly unfortunate. Let me just confirm that. Sometimes this game can get a little weird if you look him up, but my guess is Ty Jerome probably gone. Yep, he's gone. I can unfortunately not pay Mr. Jerome. That sucks. It would have been nice to bring him back. I know I just got done talking about how 2K, will typically allow me to go ahead and re-sign players, well over the salary cap and the aprons and all that fun stuff. But I guess not today. So add backup point guard to the list of positions we definitely need to upgrade. It was pretty evident to me, and I'm assuming a lot of you, that the backup center spot is pretty open right now. Tristan Thompson was the one and only guy we had listed there behind Jared Allen. So we're going to make a little upgrade here. We're going to send Dean Wade and Max Strus to Chicago, and in return, we're going to get ourselves Jalen Smith and a 2026 first-round pick. It's actually via the Chicago Bulls, so we'll have their unprotected first next year, which feels like it could be a pretty nice asset. So, I understand Max Strus was important to this team. He was the starting small forward for the majority of this season, and probably would have been important in this video. It's just less important than he actually was in real life. So we still have a bit of a decision to figure out here at the small forward spot. I think here in 2K, I'm probably going to start Hunter for one season, and then we'll make the real decision next offseason. Ultimately, he has 2 years of team control left, and we'll get Okoro some more minutes, and again, Jalen Tyson will continue to develop. So I also think Craig Porter Jr. is likely going to get the backup point guard role next year. We lost Ty Jerome for nothing. It sucks. It's just the reality of the situation we find ourselves in. So he has another year of team control after this as well, which is really good. You guys know how I operate. I always love having team control. So I don't think there's any other changes. So we'll sign a shooting guard here. Who that's going to be, I have no idea. It's probably going to be Luke Kennard. Maybe he can somewhat replace what we lost in shooting with Max Strus. So I don't know. I'll give it a shot there. Again, it's certainly not a 1-for-1, but it's about as good as I have at the moment. So that's going to be it for offseason number 1 moves. We didn't really make any major changes, but I think we are definitely going to have a really solid first season. It is go time here in Cleveland. I have finalized the rotation the way I think it'll work best. Again, we have slid DeAndre Hunter into this starting 5, and here in 2K anyways, I think that's going to be pretty beneficial. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen are 1 through 5. It's very evident to me that there's a lot of talent here in this starting 5. So hopefully that makes up for what is maybe a little bit of a lackluster bench. Of course, losing Ty Jerome for nothing hurts. Isaac Okoro taking over 6-man responsibilities. We, of course, traded for Jalen Smith. He'll be my new backup center. Luke Kennard will be blocking in the backup 2-guard spot. Craig Porter Jr. Now finding himself minutes in this rotation. Obviously, we drafted Austin Newell. So that's the 10-man rotation. There's a lot of promise with most of these players, especially on the bench. Well, really not that many. It's kind of just Craig Porter Jr. and Newell. But, outside of that, I think this team is very top-heavy. That's pretty clear, to me from day one here. And it's just really about finding our stride at the right time, which I think this team can certainly do. So I'll see you guys at the end of the first season here in Cleveland. It was not a bad season by any means, but it was kind of an season in terms of what I had for expectations. We end up losing 10 less. By no means was it a bad season here in Cleveland. It was just kind of an season. I had some pretty big expectations for this team coming off a 64-win season, and we ended up losing 10 more games than we did just a year ago. 54-28 is the final record. I don't know if that is because of the somewhat poor bench. I don't know if there's a chemistry issue in this starting 5, but if we don't have a long playoff run, there will be some pretty big changes made. SGA going to be your MVP. Cooper Flagg ends up in Philly. He fell to the 3rd overall pick. God, what a blessing that would be for the Sixers. P. Giddy is your 6th man of the year in Detroit. He ends up finding a new home. Walker Kessler wins Depoy. Mobley does win not defensive player, excuse me, most improved. Really? Okay. I mean, he went up in rebounds and assists, but really not anything else. He went down in points. His field goal percentage went down. His 3-point shooting percentage went down. His free throw was the exact. I don't know if that's a most improved candidate. LaMelo Ball, clutch player of the year, and they do give Jason Kidd coach of the year. You watched yesterday's rebuild with Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks. It's a pretty fun one. Go check it out after this. All right, it is time for the playoffs. We end up as the 2 seed here in the Eastern Conference. Thankfully, this is the Leastern Conference, as we all call it. And obviously, it is a little bit weaker. So we'll be facing a play-in team in round 1. Here is a look at the West. Let's talk about some of the numbers for this team real quick. Points per game was actually Darius Garland. Donovan Mitchell, 21 points a game would be his lowest since his rookie season, which is kind of insane to think about because he has been really, really good. Now, I will also say it was pretty evident it was also his most efficient season. So, you kind of got to take and give a little bit. But yeah, 40, almost 5% from the field. He was 52, almost 3%. Or that was from 3 from the field. You get my point. I just got to stop talking over myself. Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, nothing's really jumping out at me like super poor anyways. So, okay, round 1 here. It is going to be us and the Toronto Raptors. Toronto's going to be an interesting team this offseason. I think they have some flexibility to make a big move. They're good. There's no denying that. I do think we are better, but they might have the better bench, which certainly could come back and hurt us a little bit. We're 2-2. We go up 3-2, and we win the series in 6. Now moving on to the Detroit Pistons here. Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Gazar Thompson, Harris, Duran, Giddey, Sasser, Holland. All right, let's see if we can advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. It would be pretty nice to get that done here in year number 1. We are currently down 3-2, though. We do force Game 7. It's another second-round exit here in Cleveland. Okay, that's a pretty tough end. Holy smokes. Good God, Donovan. That's that's the first round, but good Lord. Bounces back, a little bit in terms of the second round, but I feel like you got to take over a little bit. Donovan Mitchell's a guy who can put up 28 a game. He's been an elite playoff performer his entire career, and I need him to be that right now. So, not a great series for Jared Allen in terms of the scoring. He's got to rebound more. I mean, for a guy who's, it says 6'9". I think he's maybe an inch or two taller than that. But you're a center, and he had a really poor rebounding performance, especially in games 4 and 5 against Indiana, from what memory serves me. But I don't know, man. I feel like Jared Allen could just be better as a whole. I feel like he certainly has the skills to do it. It is going to be the Pistons and the Spurs here in the finals. Spurs win it all, and oh my God. What a demigod, really. It's just what he is. Good luck, rest of the NBA. All right, LeBron James officially calling it a career. Same with Chris Paul, Al Horford, Batum, Lopez, Russell Westbrook, sent to here at Golden State. Oh my God. Drew Holiday doing the same. We're heading to staff retirements. Popovich, who of course is now done with coaching officially in real life as well. We'll take a look at the lottery, which I saw we have the Bulls pick, don't we? All right, it's projected number 14. Certainly not nothing. It's going to end up at number 14. So that's fine by me. Do we bring back Kenny Atkinson? Do we do that? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a Stauffer video. Jason Kidd could be fun. Mark Daignault sitting here. I'd actually be pretty interested in Mark Daignault if he's willing to come here. I think I've had some success with him in the past. Nate McMillan. Yeah, I mean, nothing really else is jumping out at me too much. Billy Donovan sitting here. I mean, obviously Kenny. Will Hardy's not bad. Just the ratings aren't great. All right, I'm going to make an offer to Stauffer. And actually, no, not Stauffer. I'm going to make an offer to Missoula, and obviously we have the offer in as well. To Daignault. So I'm going to sign Daignault. He's not a guy I get a lot. I do think he's a good head coach. So, you know, this wasn't a shot at Kenny Atkinson, but, you know, 2 second-round exits in a row is pretty disappointing for what this team is. Obviously losing 10, you know, less or 10 more games technically with a team that quite literally cannot get injured sucks. So 14th overall pick, 28th overall pick for the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. I'll probably draft somebody at both spots just because I think at worst they'll both be pretty valuable trade pieces, and obviously there's a possibility we find ourselves a new backup as well. So let's draft somebody at number 14, kicking things off here. Torre Yabusele, is he related to Gershon? It's a possibility. Jalen Harrelson, somebody I've drafted before, I've had some success with. And the shooting guard spot certainly could be a need as well. Silas Damari Jr., interesting. He's another shooting guard, but he's also the only rated C prospect according to our scouting department. So, sure, Silas. Welcome to Cleveland. Okay, 75 and 72 overall, respectively. Tyson and Craig Porter Jr. both will be brought back. We take a look here in free agency, and I don't think we have any major free agents. So, I think it kind of goes without being said, we need to shake something up a little bit. What that is, I still have no idea, but something needs to give. We're going to hit up the Toronto Raptors. I think a Brandon Ingram addition to this team would be really beneficial. Now, in terms of overall, he's only 3 overalls higher than DeAndre Hunter. I do think Brandon Ingram is clearly the better player, and I do think he'd be a major upgrade in this starting 5. So I'm offering up Hunter in this deal. Okoro is in here to make the money work, and on top of that, I know how well Jalen Tyson's progression goes. I think he'll actually be low 80s by the time next season kicks off, so he'll probably surpass Okoro as a whole. I'm not sure what it's going to cost me to get Brandon Ingram. I'd be willing to deal our recently drafted Silas Damari Jr. They're not interested. How about if I give you a first? And they agree. All right, that's fine by me. Again, we're still pretty low in the draft capital department, which is unfortunate. I think at this point, maybe moving Luke Kennard, who we did sign to a 2-year deal, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Actually, is there a way I can maybe get just an entire upgrade at the point guard spot? Because I'd be more willing to do that, I think. Ben Shepherd. No, not really. Yeah, nothing really here jumping out. I mean, Boogie Fland. Well, this is you know what? I think this is a risky proposition. Here's my thought process on this. Boogie Fland, he didn't play a single minute, it looked like, last year. He's a 73 overall right now, so he's 2 overalls lower than Craig Porter Jr. He's also 6 years younger. I believe should have at least 1 more year of team control. He has 2 more years of team control. He'll probably be around a 75 overall with progression, and on top of that, we're getting a draft pick. So it might not make sense on paper right now, but I'm thinking kind of long-term right now, and especially getting the draft pick. I think this trade's going to be beneficial towards us because we don't really have any other draft capital, and obviously we are in the market for it. So Boogie Fland is going to be backing up Garland. And, of course, the other argument is that Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are eating up the majority of the guard minutes we have on this team anyway. So, you know, it is kind of, you know, nerve-wracking because 2 guys playing behind them have not really been in the NBA. Boogie Fland didn't see the court, and Jalen Harrelson's a rookie. So a little nerve-wracking there, but I do think the Ingram addition will be nice. Asa Newell should hopefully continue to progress, and we are in a decent spot at this point. It is year number 2 here in Cleveland. After a lackluster first season, we decided we needed another major upgrade this offseason, and we swung a deal with the Toronto Raptors to land ourselves Brandon Ingram. This starting 5 could not be more complete if I traded for anybody. Like, it's elite. That's what I'm trying to say. Garland and Mitchell remain the backcourt. Of course, now B.I. taking over that starting 3, and then Mobley and Jared Allen remain our front court bench unit. Jalen Tyson up to an 81. Good to see his development does go well. Jalen Smith remains my backup center. Boogie Fland actually jumped up to a 78 overall, so he was actually even higher than Craig Porter Jr. I'm pretty happy about that trade. Asa Newell's up to a 78 overall as well, and finally Jalen Harrelson will be our 10th and final man in this rotation as he does enter his rookie season. New head coach as well, and Mark Daignault. Hopefully he's really able to take this team over the top and at least make a finals. I mean, we haven't been in an Eastern Conference Finals in this video, but I think it is, you know, NBA Finals or bust in some ways at this point. So, see you guys at the end of year number 2. We go 60-22 here to wrap up our second season. We're feeling pretty good. It is a 6-game improvement over year one, and we are hoping that this is the team that can finally break through and get that championship. Now, Nikola Jokic is winning MVP. AJ DeBance, oh good. Give the Spurs another blue chip prospect. Jaden Ivey now in Utah, and he's somehow coming off the bench for the Jazz. Okay. Wemby wins Depoy. Brandon Miller, most improved. Steph Curry, clutch player of the year, and Jordy Fernandez, coach of the year. Wow, we were not the only team that won 60 games. Did we get the tiebreaker? We did, which is really good news. So we'll be facing the 8 seed, whoever that ends up being. And then we had the best record in basketball, which is great. I'm very happy about that. Oh my God. The scoring is certainly spread out a little bit, especially with the addition of Brandon Ingram. He's at 19 points a game, leading the charge force. Garland, Mobley. Wow, Donovan Mitchell was our 4th leading scorer. I'd be willing to bet a lot of money Donovan Mitchell's never been the 4th leading scorer on the team. To be fair, I doubt he's actually even been anything but one. I mean, maybe one of those first seasons in Utah, but even at that, he was averaging 20 points a game. So, I mean, I don't really know. But nonetheless, this team's loaded, very well balanced, clearly, and hopefully this is the team that can carry us to the promised land. An old friend, Ty Jerome, is in Chicago. Him and Kobe White paired up in the backcourt. Got Kyle Kuzma, Matas Buzelis, Hartenstein here. Oh, my God. You have De'Aaron Fox coming off the bench for either one of these guys? Okay. Let's see what happens here in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. We dropped the first 2 on our home floor. Unacceptable. Just wow. 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 I can tell when it's going to happen. It's very weird. It's when I stop speaking, I'm like, I know what's going to happen. That's absolutely insane that we went to 7 games. Never mind the fact that we were down 3-0, but gotta love 2K, man. The Toronto Raptors here. They have added, obviously, DeAndre Hunter after we traded him there. He's an 86 overall. Aaron Gordon now there as well. This is another really good team that I'm hoping we can beat. So we are up 3-0 though, and we sweep them, but we go to 8 with the fucking Chicago Bulls. Okay, 2K. And the Nets also won 60 games, so they're obviously doing something right. And Pritchard, Case and Wall is a really nice addition. Okay, I think we're better than them. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Oh boy. Yeah. That one did not feel like we were going to end up making it back and going to the finals. That's sad. That's a sad way to kind of wrap things up here. Ingram was great for us. He definitely wasn't the problem. Mobley. I need Donovan Mitchell to just take over. Like, you're Donovan Mitchell, dude. Like, just give me something. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Darius. Well, it is, your guess is as good as mine. Randall's been great. I don't want to shit on Julius Randle. What the hell? Kevin Durant spent a year in Portland. Harden stayed with the Clippers. Steph Curry retiring. Paul George. Oh, my God. It is time to decide what needs to be changed, because clearly it is very evident to me and probably to all of you that the talent is here. There's no denying that. But something with this team is not clicking correctly. Oh, good. Give Nikola Jokic the #1 overall pick. Something with this team is not clicking correctly, and it definitely needs to be fixed. So what that is, I'm still kind of unsure in that department, but we will certainly sniff it out and make the moves that are necessary. So Mitchell and Ingram both going to be hitting unrestricted free agency. Baylor Shireman was here. Oh, Celtics legend. No, we're not going to qualify him. Getting Donovan Mitchell and Brandon Ingram back is a huge priority for me. No real offers there for either two players. Well, for at least Mitchell. Ingram has no real offers either. So going to pay them both. They both brought back. And at this point, it is definitely time for a trade. Kind of goes without being said. We're doing a 1-for-1 swap here with the Atlanta Hawks. I'm not sure if this is going to fix our problems that we have at this point in time. My guess is it probably doesn't make us, extremely better. That being said, I do think Trae Young is clearly a better player than Darius Garland, even if there are only one overall different. It's like they're not the same player. Their play styles are certainly different, but ultimately we're not making like a major jump. Like we're not going from like Peyton Pritchard to Steph Curry here. So, I do think that this is a move that is needed. Garland really has disappointed me pretty much for the majority of this video, and especially in that last conference finals. So, Trae Young's a guy who has clearly played in big games. He is a guy that has certainly gone out and proved that he knows how to hit those big shots. And I think he's going to be a very welcome addition to this team. Another move that kind of just switches things up for whatever reason. I don't know if this is going to be a major upgrade that's needed, but I do think it's necessary. We have to kind of shake the tree a little bit and see what falls out. Jared Allen has been pretty good for us. I'm assuming he was good defensively. Of course, there's no real way for us to check that, but I think Jared Allen needs to move on, and I think it's going to benefit us. So bringing in Kristaps Porzingis, he's a guy who can play defense when he's healthy. Unfortunately, at this point in time for my Celtics, the man has AIDS or something. But nonetheless, he's going to be a nice upgrade, can clearly space the floor a little bit. That should benefit us as well. Jalen Harrelson's also in this deal, which kind of hurts. Now, we are getting Dash Daniels back. I'm not sure if I'll actually let him run the backup 2 guard. Similar last year to Boogie Fland, I do expect some development, but if there's any... not really. Okay. Well, maybe we've kind of just gotten to the point where we have to go with what we've got. I don't think there's really another way to shake this thing up. Boogie Fland's going to continue to develop. Hopefully Daniels is. And again, Mitchell's playing 34, 35 minutes a night. Tyson will clearly keep going up. Same with Newell. And then I'm comfortable with what Jalen Smith has done. So Kristaps Porzingis, Trae Young, they are the 2 additions to this team. Look from Brandon Ingram and up in the salary department. Look how much money these guys are making. It has to be a championship team. It really does. Third and final season in Cleveland has arrived. We have yet to make an NBA Finals. Last year breaking through to the conference finals for the first time. In this offseason making some major moves that are certainly going to impact this team. Trae Young now paired up in the backcourt with Donovan Mitchell. Still have B.I. and Evan Mobley. Of course, brought in Kristaps Porzingis as well. Some other really good news. Boogie Fland has developed. He is now an 85 overall. He'll be the backup point guard and 6th man for this team. Jalen Tyson, who's up to an 83. Jalen Smith will remain my backup center. And then, of course, Asa Newell, who really didn't move as much as I thought he could potentially in the power forward department, in the overall department for our backup power forward. But it's fine. And then Dash Daniels up to a 77. You know, it's nothing game-changing, but at least it's, you know, much better than a 73. It's 10 minutes a night. So that is the team. I am hoping this is it. I don't really know what else to do if it's not. And I guess we'll all find out together at the end of year number 3. Year 3 is easily our best season to date. 65-17 is the final record, and I'm feeling confident at this point. But don't blame me if I'm feeling a little nervous. Victor Wembanyama, your MVP. He's obviously emerged as one of the best players in the world. Brandon McCoy, Rookie of the Year. He's a member of the New Orleans Pelicans. Jaden Ivey continuing to win 6-mans. He's just now doing it in Minnesota. Wemby wins another Depoy. Rasheer Fleming, Most Improved. Luka Doncic, Clutch Player of the Year. And Jason Kidd. We actually didn't even have the best record in all of basketball. That's sad, but we are the 1 seed here in the Eastern Conference. Good Lord. Here is a look at the West. Let's talk about some of the numbers for this team real quick. And as I expected, everything's pretty spread out. But Trae Young emerging quite nicely as our number 1 option. Like, how does Evan Mobley outscore Donovan Mitchell? That I do not get. Mobley led us in boards, and then it's just going to be Trae Young. So, 65 wins. We're the 1 seed taking on the 8 seed Detroit Pistons, who are pretty good, especially for an 8 seed. So, I'm a little nervous right now. Split the first 2 at home. Drop game 3 on the... Oh, my God. Oh, my... Okay. Now it is us and the Washington Wizards. We've come back from down 3-0 and 3-1 in this video. Josh Giddey, Bilal Coulibaly, Liam McNeil. Oh, my... How... I've asked this question so many times. How does Chet Holmgren always end up off the Thunder? Because he's not a free agent. And if he is, he's restricted at that. Why? I've seen this happen way too many times for it to be a coincidence at this point. This team's loaded. I mean, there's really no denying that. How they're a 4 seed in this dog shit conference is so far beyond me. They might be better than us. I'm not going to lie to you. We're up 3-2, and we get it done. It is a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Finals with the Brooklyn Nets. Igor Domin, Cam Thomas, Kyle Kuzma. You got Randall, Nick Claxton. Again, I think we're better, but I also thought that last year, so who really knows at this point? We sweep them. Okay, beautiful. And it is us in the 67-win Dallas Mavericks, who are led by Ace Bailey. He's pretty good, if you didn't know. Still got Kyrie as well and Marshall. Yeah, not really many major changes here. Keegan Murray's a nice pickup for him. They might be better than us. I'm not going to lie to you. We're down 2-1 at this point. Now down 3-1. No championship in today's video. Ace Bailey's a stud. I questioned why Cooper Flagg didn't go number 1. Ace Bailey obviously out there proving me wrong. So, disappointing end to what was a very interesting rebuild. I wouldn't say it was frustrating. It was just more kind of almost infuriating in some ways. Like, I was like, the talent is here. Like, unless I'm losing it. So, you know, I'm not going to put this all on Donovan Mitchell, but he severely disappointed me throughout this rebuild, even with the, you know, immensely talented players that were around him. So, you know, in terms of what Cleveland actually does this offseason, they're pretty, you know, restricted. They can't really aggregate salaries to kind of match them up with a bigger one. So I keep seeing everybody say Giannis. Giannis is not going to Cleveland. Like, the mathematics of it is impossible. So I'll be interested to see if they make a smaller-esque move. My guess is some team gets desperate and does pay Ty Jerome to a point where Cleveland isn't comfortable matching. So, you know, that would be my guess for that. But other than that, there's not really a lot of flexibility here. So I don't know how they're going to make a big move to really get this team over the top. But they're still relatively young, you know, especially with a guy like Evan Mobley. Garland's still pretty young. And, of of course, some of the guys they have coming off the bench. So interesting nonetheless. Definitely looking forward to it. So that's going to do it for me. As always, let me know any other video ideas down below. Now, I can't fucking speak. Let me know any other video ideas down below in the comment section. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.